स्टूडेंट्स ऑनलाइन तैयारी चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन को प्रेस करके लेटेस्ट वीडियो देखें सबसे पहले।
Hello and welcome to OnlineTyari, and in this video we are going to discuss why USA joined the World War I. And before that, I would request you to go through the first video where I have discussed what were the major reasons that led to the war, and also I have discussed what were the main events that led to the war. And if you understand those 2 points, you will easily understand why the World War I started. So in this video, I am going to focus why USA joined the World War I, because USA was the deciding factor. And when USA joined with Britain against the Central Powers, it was almost decided that now Germany and its allies would surrender. So let's start with Entente versus Central Powers. So these were the basic configuration of that time of countries, which side were whom. So here you can see Entente powers consisted of France, Russia, Great Britain, Serbia, Japan, Italy, and other countries. And we already know that Germany always wanted to attack France and capture France. Since 1894 they were having this Schlieffen plan. So, and Russia joined the war because Serbia was attacked by Austria. Great Britain joined the war because Germany invaded the neutral country of Belgium, and Belgium was supported by Britain. And we already know Serbian why joined. It was the Serbia. Main reason was the Serbia why the World War started, because Serbian nationalists killed the Archduke of Austria, and because he was killed by Serbian nationalists, so Austria declared war on Serbia, and in support of Austria came Germany, and in support of Serbia came Russia, and the World War started. Japan also joined because Britain requested Japan to block the German expansion in Asian waters, and Italy because Britain promised that if you support us, then we will provide you some territories and colonies, which didn't happen, and that's why the fascist regime came in Germany after the First World War. So what happened that Italy initially was in the sides of Germany, but in 1915 they said that Germany and its allies had not consulted before the outbreak of the war, so we are going in the side of Britain. And Britain was able to manipulate Italy that if you come from our side, then we will provide you the territories and other colonies. And similarly, Portugal, Romania also entered the war, and the one factor which resulted into the culmination of war, into Britain winning the war, it was United States in 1917. We will go through in the second slide, and let's now Central Powers. So Germany was left with no empire. When Germany wanted to have their empire, their colonies all over the world, but the already major countries like African continent was already divided between French, Dutch, and English. Asian continent was also divided among them. So even Latin American countries were already divided in Portuguese and Spanish and French. So there was no continent left where Germany could make a colony, and that time making a colony was not only a nationalist policy, but it was also very profitable, because you get a new market and new raw materials, and you get a market where you could export your product also. So that's why Germany wanted to have, but that time it was not possible, because already other countries, other colonists like Britain, France, and Portuguese and Spanish had already acquired the major countries of world. Austria-Hungary was a huge empire in Europe. It was consisted of Romanian, Moldovan, German. They were having like every ethnic group was having in the Austro-Hungary Empire, and it became slowly, really near to impossible to rule over all the nationalities, and that's why Serbia always wanted to destroy Austria-Hungary, and Austria-Hungary always saw Serbia with suspicion. So when the Serbian nationalists killed the Archduke of Austria, then Austria declared war on Serbia and the World War started. Ottoman Empire was already had lost their major territories in the first two Balkan wars, where Balkan League first acquired whatever territories left by Ottoman Empire. So Turkey joined the war later, and even Bulgaria joined the war later. So this was the basic formation of the First World War. And now we will come to the second most important question of this video: why USA joined the war? So before we delve into that, we should understand that USA was a country of immigrants. All people came from like Europe, Britain, and other parts of the world. So basically they wanted to remain isolated. They wanted to trade with both sides, like German side and British side, both sides. They did not want to go into war because that was expensive and that would curtail their trade. They did not want to do that. So when war began, USA maintained neutrality under the President Woodrow Wilson. He supported laissez-faire, which means there will be less government interference in economic affairs. So he was a liberalist and he wanted to keep USA out of the war. But as the things started to change, he had to go to war. So here you can see in this video, in this PowerPoint, that from 1912 to 1917, the trade with different countries. So here with Great Britain, you can see the trade skyrocketed. And then comes the France, it also skyrocketed. With Germany declined after 1915, after the Lusitania incident we will talk about, and then with all other countries. So even after the war, they enjoyed the trade prosperity because all of the Europe went into the dismal because the war devastation, and before the war they were really the supreme. So second, Britain was closest to the US, and many ships entering towards British islands were destroyed by the German Navy. So it was becoming a problem for them since in 1915, because whenever they sent some trade cargo by ship, it was destroyed by German army. So it was becoming a problem for them. And Lusitania incident, yes. So what happened that in Feb 1915, Germany announces unrestricted warfare. So what do you mean by unrestricted warfare? Unrestricted warfare means that any ship comes into the seawater of like areas where Britain has British area, then it will be destroyed. As what happens that there are some war codes, like you cannot destroy a trading ship or passenger ship. So that is the ethics of the war. But Germany announced unrestricted warfare, and it means all ships, neutral or otherwise, that entered the war zone around Britain would be destroyed. And it was already published in the US newspaper, American newspaper. So people were knowing somehow, and even their government was knowing that if the ship starts sailing from here to London, then it might get destroyed. So there is still a possibility that people think that when they were knowing that that might result into destruction, then why they allowed this. So, but we won't delve into the controversies. So we will focus on that. Louisiana ship started from New York to Liverpool. So the ship started from New York to Liverpool, and then it was destroyed by German U-boat. And when it was destroyed, there were almost 2,000 passengers, and among them almost 1,200 passengers died, and among them, how many were Americans? Almost 125. It was the incident of 1915. Sorry, I have written here. It will be 1915. So you can see it was destroyed, and then comes second. But even though after the destruction, USA did not declare the war, but somehow the public opinion went against the Germany in USA. And you can see the incident happened in 1915, and they did not declare war in 1915. It was only in the end of 1917 they declared war. And what was the reason for that? The basic reason that this man, Zimmerman, was ambassador to USA from Germany. So he was a German ambassador to US. So he was in talks with Mexican government that if you declare war on USA, then we would provide you New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas. 3 states of US we will provide if you declare war on US. And USA government found that note, like the secret talk going on between them. So finally USA declares war on Germany in 1917. And so finally, when USA came into the help of Britain, it not only provided credit and food supply, but also morally, psychologically boosted the British side. So what happened that by 1918, almost half a million soldiers joined, and as Britain was exhausted with war, and even their supporters were already on the verge of surrendering, like Bulgaria and Turkey were already on the verge of surrendering, so Germany was left fighting alone. So finally the war came to end in 1918, and so somehow it can be said that USA proved a major factor why British-led Triple Entente won the war. That's all. Thank you. See you in the next video with Treaty of Versailles.